So what does it mean to be on your Grizzly? It means hard work, dedication, and it means progress beyond your Grizzly. Hard work, dedication, and progress.
I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. And if you're busy making moves, say it with me. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. And if you're busy making moves, say it with me.
Coming to you from the City of Angels, this is the Grizzly Podcast, hosted by Irvin Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Grizzly Podcast. I am your host, Irvin Scott, and today I'm joined by social media personality and restaurant critic himself, Alexander the Hood Foodie Orozco. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my guest. Yeah.
I can't thank you enough, man, because I'm blessed when people give me a voice, because I'm in this path where the more people support us, the more that we can help out, but we'll get into that.
I appreciate you coming on the show, bro. I've been trying to do this for a long time now, and, you know, timing is everything. We finally got a chance to link up. I know you just recently celebrated a birthday. I got a chance to come out there with you and celebrate with you. This all went down in the 818 Northridge, you know, your hood, my hood, the San Fernando Valley. But, you know, hey, man, let's talk about how this whole journey started, because for a lot of people that aren't familiar with your work or what you do, I mentioned social media personality. I also said restaurant critic, and this is basically what you do. And obviously you do a little bit more than that too, but what I know you for, and, you know, what I first recognized you for was for the restaurant stuff. You know, you go to mom and pop shops and, you know, you try out the food and you talk about it. And you basically just kind of like, you know, travel around the San Fernando Valley and LA County in general and talk about amazing food. So with that being said, man, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how this whole journey started. Let me know first where you came from, where were you born, your background.
My family lived in Pucoima. Before I turned one, in 1979, my dad was from León, Guanajuato, so he actually sold the house, got $1 million pesos, and moved us out to León, Guanajuato, where, you know, his family basically, I don't know, I think till this date, they're the biggest distributors for cuero, leather. So what my dad did is that he would buy a leather from them and then, you know, make boots. And that's basically how we did a living out there. And he also did real estate. Came back in 88, and then that's where our journey, you know, came back to my hood of the 818. My dad, you know, we came back broke. My dad got a mobile home for the family, all 6 of us, and we started touring the whole family. You know, we went from Silmar to San Fernando, Pucoima, Sun Valley, and then he finally got a condo in North Hills. My jefito and my mom passed away, and then we got our first home in Northridge. And then after that, you know, everybody broke off. And then now I'm staying in my hood of Encino. A lot of people don't know this, but yeah, man, I actually grew up in mi bonito León, Guanajuato, you know, and so my mom was from Mexicali. My dad was from León, Guanajuato. So I consider myself mitad panza verde, mitad cachanilla.
So you got a chance to experience a little bit of the 818 because you were all over the place. But now, like you said, you're now in Encino, and that's still part of the San Fernando Valley. But so tell us a little bit more about how this whole thing came about, man. You know, your family moved you around, and eventually this thing happened. You know, the social media thing just kind of came to you, or is that something that you just kind of stumbled across? Like, how did this whole thing start?
It stems back when my parents passed away when I coming out of high school, you know, and I was so dependent on them. But, you know, I barely graduated high school. I've never been able to read a book. You know, I still have to be tested for like dyslexia. I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. So I always knew there was something off about me, you know. So from coming out of high school when I lost my parents to like 36, I felt like I was a lost soul, you know. So what did I do? You know, lo cubría. You know, I would, you know, yo era bien pedo. I was an alcoholic, you know, and I was a binging alcoholic. So anytime I would start drinking, I wouldn't stop, to the point where, you know, DUIs, incarceration, you know, crashing into walls on the freeway. I mean, shit. I mean, I'm glad nothing worse happened, you know, but I think at 36, that's finally when I was like, you know what? I'm tired. And I, you know, I was able to stop drinking from one day to the next. Like, I got to start working on myself. So yeah, you know, I went to a doctor, you know, I was diagnosed with bipolar depression. Then I started taking meds. My first time experiencing medication, good and bad experience. Bad because I was depressed. I found myself at work in my Raptor, contemplating suicide. And the only reason why I didn't drive off was because there were so many businesses in that lot. So nobody knows what would have happened if that vehicle wasn't in front of me. Ended up in Mission Community Hospital in the city of Panama City on a 5152 hold. And all I noticed was that, you know, once I was in there, they were just feeding me more medication, and this was the shit that was making me the way I was. So as soon as they let me go, that's when I basically, like, I stopped medication. And if you guys haven't experienced like the side effects of medication, like, I was numb for months. Like, I was home, I was just a cabbage. I had like my wife on one ear, my kids on the other. Like, Dad, we love you. You know, we want you to be your funny self again. At the time, social media was hitting hard. You know, I was like, I think I was looking for an outlet. You know what? I go to food, you know, I go to restaurants. Let me take some pictures. So it just so happens that it was my hood of the 818. Lenchitas, Mike's Cafe, quickly for the journey to kick me out to LA, the mecca of the foodie world. We start blowing shit up. First restaurant took them from 500 followings to they're probably like 100,000 followers at this moment. I know last time they were like 60 or 70. Last time I checked. I was getting known. I was certifying restaurants, creating dishes with the people I was helping support. McDonald's hit us up at 3,000 followings. That was like incredible, because I was getting invited to events where, you know, the people that were getting invited, all these influencers, they had 100,000 plus, and there was me. I took it like McDonald's was like, hey, man, like, we believe in you. I've been sponsored by McDonald's, Carl's Jr., Panda Express, Vallarta. I just did Remy Martin, our biggest campaign to date. Podcast interviews from an early stage. You know, I started getting hit up by podcasters, and which that was a blessing in disguise, because I didn't know that when people ask me stuff, I had no filter. So in my first podcast, I was talking about my mental health. I was talking about my son that has autism. I was talking about my struggles with diabetes, the elephant in the room in the foodie world, not knowing that I was affecting the Latinx community, you know, also being so vulnerable, you know. And I've been in a Gordon Ramsay show. I've met him. He follows me. I've hung out with Daron Sanchez. I don't even know how I got into the foodie game, because growing up, I was such a picky eater, and I don't know how to cook. I mean, yeah, te puedo hacer unos huevitos con winnies, but I don't know. I mean, the way that I see it is, apparently I have a personality, and I love creating relationships with the people that I love supporting, and they've made me rise. So to answer your question, bro, like, I feel like food is a platform, but this is way bigger than me, because I wasn't looking for this. Like, like I said, I was just social media, boom, 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 posting. People, you know, were catching on, you know, with everything, and evolving to, you know, not just like helping out the restaurants. And where I want to go back to is one word. I'm gonna be real with you, Don. one word that I do dislike is being a critic. Somebody that has a voice can make or break a business. And I've never been about that. Because remember, I don't even know how I got in. Like, I don't think I even have the right to judge people's food when I don't even know this shit myself. Right? Okay. So what the calling is telling me is basically I'm just here to bring a spotlight on the smallest of the smallest. And then, I have the familia to support it. And that's why I would say, when you reach out to me for help, you don't just get the Hood Foodie, man. You get the familia, bro. And that's what I mean by you get the support from the familia. And I'm pretty sure you experienced it at the event that we had. Like, there, everybody there was just nothing. They were all real ones.
For those that are actually listening and watching right now, for those of you that are unaware of what he's referring to, so the familia, in other words, is the family. Those are all the people that actually support my guy here. They follow everything that he's doing, whether it's on social media or they're following him in person. I mean, he had an event. I went out there and there was a strong support of people that, that just build with him and they like to connect with him and, they'll eat food with him. They'll dance with him. They'll play music and just sing with him. I mean, it's a whole community of people that just follow my friend here, the Hood Foodie. How did you choose that name?
Like I said, man, it found me from the logos to the name to, the name, I don't even remember how the name, my wife swears that she came up with the name, but I'll give her that credit. I mean, supporting small mom and pop shops in the hood, it was not like thought out. Like, it just like, now it clicked like, oh, like the Hood Foodie. So I ran with it, the logo, our original logo. I had a meeting with somebody and they're like, okay, well, you got the name. What about the face? And then that same day I get home and I'm just like playing with like filters on Facebook. And then there was a cartoon one and I just made the face and the logo was created. I wasn't planning on creating the character. I wasn't, like when you get, you know me. Like when I'm on live, when I'm dancing, whatever I post, this is who you get. This is me. I'm not trying, What I've realized recently, I noticed what my calling is, and we're not out here creating followers, bro. Like, we're out here creating leaders. Like, that's my movement. I honestly didn't I'm like, wait a minute, like how does this even work? Like, 36 years old, I was done. Like, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have a career. I couldn't hold a job. And after hitting rock bottom, it found me. And since, como dicen, the only way to the top is starting from the bottom, bro, because this started as a little snowball effect. And yes, medication almost took me out. Depression almost took me out. COVID almost took me out. I almost died because of COVID.
Oh, wow.
But a week after all this shit happened, I was back at it again and even stronger than ever. And it hasn't stopped. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I'm just running with it at this point.
Going back to some of these restaurants, I know you said you started out in Pacoima, you went to La Chitas, and you went to a couple other restaurants. So name some other restaurants, or at least kind of tell us more about the type of restaurants that you would visit early on in your career.
It just seemed that, the Latin community was reaching out. So yeah, it was more like, promotion of Latino food, especially Mexican. It's crazy because I've been at people's homes where like the grandma's cooking the carnitas in the caso to mansion parties with some of the top chefs in the world and then everything in between, if that answers your question.
The fact that you were able to find something that came so natural to you, right? Because, like you said, you just love food, man. And you just wanted to go and try different restaurants that were just in the community. But the fact that you were able to do that, and it took off and turned into something bigger than what you expected. Like, to me, that's pretty cool, man. Like, you've been doing your thing for quite some time. And, besides you trying out like Mexican restaurants, have you tried out other dishes as well from like other countries?
Yeah, I mean, we've done Indian, we've done Thai, Italian. Oh no, yeah, the world's showing us love. Actually, as a matter of fact, Thai is probably my second after Mexican cuisine. Mexican, Thai is probably my second to go to because I obviously, siendo Mexicano, it's either you love chili or you don't. So the spices, and I ain't gonna lie, like I do love like sweet and spicy.
Because restaurant owners will have you come out to their restaurants and they'll have you try out their food. They're always seeking some sort of approval, right? Like, they want to know if you give them the approval, that stamp of approval, if their food is good enough. Like, they obviously come to you because they value your opinion. And they want to know that, the food is good too. They want other people to taste it and say, well, damn, like, I did a hell of a job cooking this food. But it's not just anybody, because they could just ask anybody to try a dish. And, anybody can say, oh, it's good or it's bad or whatever. But nah, man, like, they're coming to you. And obviously you are somebody that knows what they're talking about. Even though you say that you don't, man, you've obviously tasted food everywhere. So I think you have some sort of opinion, like an opinion that actually does matter. So when you try food, people actually want to know what you think about it.
Oh, no, I mean, obviously at this point, yeah, like, I mean, just because I was a picky eater in my younger days doesn't mean like I'm in this game. I'm in the foodie game. Now it's like, hey, so how can how do you want me to serve it the way that you serve it? Like, I owe it to people. If I'm in this game, like, I owe it to people for me to taste the food, so finding out that, I'm opening my palate. Before, no te tocaba mariscos. Now I have like a favorite place, where I go eat mariscos. Like, it just started opening up flavors that I never knew about. So for me, I mean, it's just, and the thing that they also got to understand, well, you know what? So when I got kicked out to LA, what tripped me out was that I would get invited to foodie events where, there was multiple people, eating this, that, and as soon as we would get the food, I would see people just take pictures and throw it away. And I was like, wait a minute, like, how does that work? Like, we just saw like a whole family hustle. And is that like, and they were throwing the plates in front of them. And it's like, nah, this shit, I don't think it's supposed to work like that. So I think even at that, back then, I was like, no, like, I'm not about that. Like, like, if you're going to get the Hood Foodie, like, you're going to get me. Like, I'm not just going to come here. I'm not going to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, for me, it was more like, it was like, you were going to get to know me. And that's where the relationship building started. And that, like you said, like, now that's what you see now. Like, my community, it's so strong in the point where it's like everybody shows love and support to everybody. And don't get me wrong, these 6-7 years, people don't see what I have to go through to protect my people. And like I said, this year, I made it clear that move over, because we can't stop. We're out here trying to show love to the world, because that's my calling. So I want, and I know we're rising up. I just want to rise. I want to make sure that I take the right people up with me. I feel like God gave me a second chance, but he didn't give me no little second chance. He gave me superpowers, because I'm telling you, like, it feels like, especially when 2022 started, oh man, like, I felt it's at a different, it's like, even if I thought it was already high enough, oh man, it just went way, like, even more up, because 2022, it just seemed like everywhere I go, everywhere I talk, anybody I talk to, like, I either inspire them or I do something to them,
What does it feel like being an inspiration to other people?
Damn. Fuck. I mean, it definitely feels good. I'll tell you that. It really feels good, you know, because like I said, you know, like people, I remember somebody earlier in my earlier stages, they would be like, oh, you're a leader. And I'm like, what are you talking about, a leader? Like, how can I lead after all the shit that I went through? You know, like, how can I lead? And then, you know, somebody would tell me like, oh yeah, you know, like, you should be like a motivational speaker. Like, oh, you should be like Tony Robbins. And I'm like, me? Like Tony Robbins? Right? But quickly to find out that Diosito uses people to talk to me. Because I don't know about you. I'm like, oh shit, like how am I inspiring so many people?
Yeah. You're a vessel, you know? God sent you here to this earth as a vessel. You're helping other people get past whatever situation they're going through. And you do, because, you know, that's another thing I noticed, because, you know, just watching your videos on Instagram, on social media, you are an advocate for mental health awareness. I mean, you talk about it all the time, and you even will share your experiences and all the things you've gone through. And I think just sharing your experiences can, in a way, motivate others to seek help, or if not seek help, it's just turn their life around, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we all go through stuff regardless of what we're going through in our life. You know, we're all human beings, and sometimes we need other people to just kind of like, you know, reach out to us and say, you know what, man, it's going to be okay. You know, you yourself, you can turn things around. It doesn't have to be difficult.
Because I tell them, like, look, if me that, you know, like I said, what I was pointing earlier with the whole barely graduating high school, dyslexia, bipolar depression, all these obstacles, all these challenges, you know, from going from nothing to this, that's I don't know. I feel it in my heart that Diosito's basically letting people know that if the Hood Foodie can do it with the little that he had, maybe to nothing, then you can do it. That's how I'm feeling it.
No, well said. And let me ask you this, man, because obviously you mentioned different names earlier, like Gordon Ramsay. Are there other people that inspire you as well?
Growing up, honestly, like I've never had anybody that I look up to. I don't know if it was because I was too young, but like, you know, maybe I didn't experience my dad or my mom, or, you know, like, I mean, obviously I love them, but to say somebody that I was, oh, like, you know, somebody that I look up to, no. But I'll tell you one thing now, the people that inspire me are the ones that inspire others, dog. Those are the people that inspire me now.
Would you say also that La Familia is an inspiration to you in a sense too, because they're there with you, you know?
Hey, since day one. Remember, I didn't believe in myself since day one. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. You guys, the familia, helped me believe. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like, it's not just me. Like, with the familia, I don't need medication. The love, the acceptance, I don't need anything else. You know, but and you know, I just so I can make sure that I, you know, to show the support that I have. Yeah, when I was almost dying, that's when I saw the fucking love of the family. Because I mean, honestly, I didn't see it. It was my wife that saw it. Because she was getting tons of messages.
And this was all during the time that you were experiencing COVID. A lot of people reached out to you. They wanted to make sure that you were good. I mean, that again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, man, that you have such a strong personality, you know, like a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like, most strong personalities are people that, you know, are kind of angry or whatever. No, your personality is strong in the sense that it's a positive one, and people want to be around that. They get a lot out of just hearing you speak, just being around you. So, I mean, very cool to hear that people reached out to you like that, man. That's a lot of love. What was going through your mind when you first heard that, people were actually trying to write to you and they were trying to make sure that you were doing okay?
It meant the world to me, dog, because they were like, whatever you need, we're here for you. I mean, to this day, like I said, 2022, like I felt like more people were like standing up, like, I know who the Hood Foodie is. Like this year, just everywhere I go, everybody that reaches out to me, because I am not gonna lie, I do have a strong character, and I'm gonna be real. It's because these 7 years have molded me to the person that I am today, and this shouldn't be. It hasn't been easy now that I look back, because I'm telling you, like, since day one, I gave people opportunities. You screw me, that's your pedal. But since day one, and now there's, obviously, like, one of my biggest thing is like, I know that there's people are gonna get screwed over left and right. But like I said, I've created a community that I'm not gonna let just anybody touch it. Because once that bad apple goes in, it could destroy everything. So that's why, I was like, that's why this year was more like, if you're not about us, like, I'm just taking care of my own. The people that believe in me, those are the people that I believe in too. I'm still gonna show love to whoever wants to accept it. My page is my portfolio. Like, yeah, all this awesome, amazing things are happening to us, and like, which it's a blessing. But I don't want to get, I don't want people to forget that, like you said, I show when I'm depressed. Shit, the other day I went on a live and I ran it. I went on a rant. And then afterwards I had to apologize because I acknowledged it. And I was like, hey, I'm human too. Like, I'm human. I apologize, but so I make sure that all the good stuff that's happening to us, check this out. This is what I had to go through to be where we're at right now. It's me. Yeah. From me being depressed to, nuestros éxitos, maybe taking picture by paparazzi. Like, it's just, I show everything.
And you know what? I think that's needed too, because, we're in a world now where there's a lot of people, I hate to say it, are faking it all the time, man. They're only showing the good in their life. And that's cool, man. Not even trying to be a hater with people, because I'm always, me personally, when I watch people online, I'm always all about what they're doing. I say, hey, you know what? They're making shit happen for themselves. That's awesome. That's inspiring to me. But at the same time, there are people that never really show the bad. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that, because maybe some people don't even want to share that either. But no. At the same time, there are some people, though, that want to make it seem like they're perfect and that their world is the only world that matters. But you have to understand, though, that despite everyone's success, there are some failures. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is that there are times where we will experience some failure. There will be some times where we may not always have it good. There are going to be some times where it may be bad. And because of that, I want to say that it's so cool to see that. It's very refreshing to see you kind of talk about your struggles and everything that you've endured to get to where you're at today. Because if it wasn't for all that stuff that happened in your life, you wouldn't be the person that you are today. It, like you said, it molded you. It shaped who you are today. And I think sometimes the stuff that we go through, it happens for a reason, to help prepare us for what's to come. And rightfully so, man. Rightfully so. You've been doing that for more than 7 years now, right?
I'm 43. So what? That's like 6-7 years.
Okay. And within that time frame, I want to talk about the restaurants now, because I know you visited so many restaurants, but has there been any restaurants that you probably didn't really like? And you don't even have to name these restaurants, but I'm sure, has there been some food that you were just like, I kind of regret eating that? Or maybe you were just like, you know what, man, I shouldn't have eaten that last meal because now I have to go to the bathroom.
No, I think for me, like I said, growing up, I was a picky eater. So there's still like certain textures that I'm not used to, like banana, or like certain textures como que todavía me dan asco. But I'm not, I honestly can't remember like a bad dish served to me. And I honestly think because since the early following, people had love for your boy already. Like when I got to LA, people already knew me, so I don't know if it's because, the love that they put into it when they serve it to me, but honestly, like I've never para decir like a really bad dish. No, something that's served with like maybe banana or like, certain textures that my palate just doesn't accept. Then yeah, those are like,
But these places where you tried the food though, and you weren't really digging it because of the texture, did it stop you from coming back to these restaurants ever again? Or did you still come back and try other foods?
Okay. So the thing with that is that, like I said, we're out here trying to show love to the world. So I hope people can understand that most of the time, I normally visit places once. I mean, it's those places that maybe make me feel comfortable where, like I can go and, Café Aficionado, you will probably see me there once a week. You met the amazing people, like, we shoot the shit. She's, they serve me breakfast. I'm there doing business. And then she even tells me, she's like, dude, people hit me up all the time. Like, how is it that the Hood Foodie's always there? And that's my answer, is I just go back to places where I feel comfortable, or the dish is bomb. Like it hits hard, like, so yeah, it's just, but no, I'm not gonna lie. Like I would say like 90% of the time I don't stop. I stop once.
There's more restaurants to show love to, so that's why you continue and make your way to other restaurants, right?
Oh no, at this point, like we have a wait list. Like people are reaching out to me. And I only think it's fair that you have to be a business owner and reach out to me directly. If you tag me, if somebody recommends you, I don't feel it's fair.
For any business owner, anybody that owns a restaurant and they're trying to get in contact with you because they want you to come out to the restaurant to try some food, what do they got to do? They got to hit you up directly?
Yes, they could either hit my landing page, which is thehoodfoodie.com, or they can DM me on my social media platforms. I'm not gonna lie, I'm religiously on Instagram, so that's probably the easiest way to find me. So the way that I support the community is, I'll come through and I'll take pictures, of the food, the community, post you up on my main page, but now it's gotten to the point where like, this is how I feed my family. This year, I'm planning to basically, take it into a corporation, and then somebody also threw out the whole nonprofit. So we're going to be looking into that. A ver what happens. But it's only because I want to get to the point where I don't have to hesitate to help somebody else because I can't. Like, I want to get to the point where I can take care of anybody and everybody with no hesitations. That's my goal. Because like I told you before, like, I feel like, yeah, the Hood Foodie, whatever, like, I feel like this is not even about me. This is about the people. Like, this is, like, the Hood Foodie was made by the people for the people.
Obviously, what you do is so unique. I don't know too many people out here in the Valley that actually do what you do. Could we see a possible cooking show in the future where maybe you can actually, try different foods, in different countries, in different states? I mean, like, I know there's something in the works, man. Are there any plans to do something like this on a bigger scale?
Well, first, before we jump into that, I just, because we're from our hood of the 818, I just want to make it a point that what I was able to build in LA, right? I brought it back home. And if you look at the history books, I was the first to bring the biggest foodie event to the San Fernando Valley. Over 50 food vendors under one roof. I've never seen that. I've seen events, but never 50 food vendors under one roof. So that for me, damn, dog. Like, I was able to bring the Hood Foodie back to the valley. But yeah, como te digo, 2022 started with a bang. We got multiple producers reaching out. They're like, hey man, you got the it factor. We just gotta work on the little things here and there. Like, we need more, more conversation, more this and that. Like, hey, whatever they need me to do, I'm gonna do it. And like I said, these are, producers, and I'm also actually linking up with the videographer. We're basically creating pitches. So with him, like I said, we don't stop for nobody. We got all these opportunities being thrown at us, but we don't wait. Like, we're waiting, but we don't wait for nobody. So what we're beginning of the year, we have access to a big restaurant named here in LA. I don't want to give it. I don't want to give too much on it. I want to make sure. I mean, it's a done deal. I just want to make sure that it starts happening. But yeah, I mean, with that, we're gonna start creating pilots to pitch to networks on our own. You're probably gonna see us somewhere in 2022.
Do you cook stuff? I know you said you cook stuff on occasion, but like, do you ever just go in the kitchen and just try to play with things? Like, just try to play with food, like just try to make your own dish or something?
When I'm hungry, yeah. But, I'm fortunate that my wife, even though I've visited probably like more than 1,000 restaurants, like, my wife, man, she gets down, bro. Like there was, in the beginning, there was even like a pitch to be like, babe, like, we should do this, we should do that. Like, but it was not her passion. It was not her love, so I had to respect that. But I think the bug is kind of getting to me. But how I feel that the journey is going is that my wife, I caught her, she said, oh yeah, this year, like, I want to get down. I want to be cooking some more like international dishes and this and that. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, okay, so I could definitely see a YouTube series there where she cooks and I could be the personality. So you just never know what you're going to get with the Hood Food. I don't even know what you're going to get. We're just getting started, carnal. We're just getting started. People they haven't even seen nothing yet. Now I'm putting my efforts.
You talked about how you and your wife wanted to do like a cooking show. But another thing I noticed, I want to give credit to your sons, man, because I see them on social media all the time. You have two of them. You have an older one, you have a younger one, and you put them on there and they're always doing what you do too, because you have this little like catchphrase, which is the Hood Foodie, right? And they're always doing that too. And it seems like they're so passionate about what it is you do as well. So the fact that you have your whole family involved, man, that's a very cool thing. There's not a lot of people that actually like to work with their family.
Oh no, yeah, man. And I've said this before, like, I'm not gonna lie, with all my challenges, I have to say that, years ago, I didn't really appreciate them until I think I needed to love myself to love them. And once I did, man, it's like, damn, like, I'll do anything for them.
You have so many people that just watch what you do, all your videos. And one video in particular that I watched and that I enjoyed was the one with the Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak song. And that's the video where you're actually wearing a wig and you play the wife, you play the husband, and they're just kind of like blowing each other kisses. And that's a very cool video, by the way. It was a very well thought out concept. I actually thought it was very fun. It showed like your personality as well in a very fun way, because, besides eating food, that's always a cool, positive thing to watch. But watching you actually just entertain us with like characters and humor like that, I thought it was actually really cool to see that. So can we expect more videos of you like that this year?
Oh, no, most definitely. Like I said, 2022, I mean, not only did we just open one door. No, I'm sorry. Not only did we knock down one door, I feel like we knocked down hundreds of them. So, yes, like I said, food is a platform. But at this point, we can choose any avenue we want. And like I said, for me, it was never like, okay, yeah, I eat. But I don't know if you noticed, but I got multiple alter egos, like from, Hulk Hogan to like Bruno Mars, so that, like what I've noticed that, I try to do like the Feel Good Fridays, me dancing, like people eat that shit up. Like, so who am I not to, push that when it's making people feel better, including myself, because if they feel good, I feel good. So yeah, I always change it up with like lucha. I grew up in León, Mexico, so for me it was like Blue Lemon, Mil Máscaras. So and I think that's where the voice, yo, what's up, family? It's your boy here once again, the Hood Foodie. People would be like, oh yeah, you kind of sound like a luchador.
Okay, so that's where that came from then, because I was actually going to ask you where that voice come from, but I now see that it's kind of like it's inspired by Hulk Hogan or a luchador.
Well, yeah, it was luchadors, and then once I got here, that's when like WWF, like I would have to say that some of my favorite that I can think of, obviously Ultimate Warrior, I don't know if it was because the fact that he would get knocked down. And even after like the beating, like he found it in him to just like, no, man, I can't give up. And that was his power.
And he had so much energy too. Like, did you ever see him like run to the ring? He was always like full of energy, and then he was shaking the ropes all the time. Very cool.
He was getting like, that's how I interpret it. It's not how you get knocked down. It's how you get back up.
We have a lot of people that listen to the show or they watch the show, whether they're in California or they're in a different state or even a different country. A lot of these people, man, what they do is basically what you and I do here. We're on our grind, and the name of the show is the Grizzly Podcast. What we do here is the Grizzly Podcast basically represents everybody that's on their hustle, everybody that's constantly grinding. You and I do that. Our listeners and viewers do that. So, Hood Foodie, I got to ask you, man, for anybody that's trying to pursue their dreams, anybody that's trying to chase their goals, anybody just trying to do something that they love, if you were to offer any advice to anybody watching, what would you say to them about, following their dreams?
I don't know a lot, but I can tell you what I do know. And what I've learned is that before the Hood Foodie, like I said, I couldn't hold a job. Maybe it was because I was not as passionate for it, because I was in the supervisor, manager role and all that. But I couldn't hold a job. And then once this happened, I've been consistent for the past 7 years. And I'm going to tell you, find something that you love and you will never work a day in your life.
Well said, man. I appreciate the advice. I'm sure everybody else appreciates the advice as well. So my guy, man, Mr. Hood Foodie, anything else that you're currently working on besides, visiting restaurants and working on all these other things that you can't really discuss yet? Is there anything else that you can share with us that you're currently working on at the moment?
Expect us to show love to the world. And by what I mean by that is, first, we're going to start with the U.S., and then we're going to go international. So, it's happening.
There you go. The man said it. He's got some secret projects in the works. You know what I'm saying? You have to just stay tuned. And for anybody, man, that hasn't followed you already, Mr. Hood Foodie, where can they find you online? Give them your social media.
You guys can find me in all social media platforms under the Hood Foodie.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much, bro, for being a part of the show. I appreciate you coming on. Obviously, you have a very interesting story from, your humble beginnings to, basically just experiences that you went through that you felt could have prevented you from just living. But, the fact that you were able to turn your life around and now you're doing something very positive with, just the community, La Familia. You got a group of people that just support you. They love what you do. You get a chance to try different foods on a daily or weekly basis. And on top of that, you also do a lot for these communities and these restaurants as well, which is, you set up these events, man, where you guys all get together and you network, and you also entertain us with comedy videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, videos that just have a lot of humor in them, like the Bruno Mars one I was telling you about earlier, guys. Make sure you guys check his pages out. I'm looking forward to everything that you'll be doing. Obviously, there's a lot more to accomplish. Like you said, you're only getting started. And I hope, man, when there's more events, you bring me out because I want to try out some food too.
I owe you, carnal. So whenever you need anything, it's all about the familia, dog.
My guy. That's it, man. So if anybody else watching this show right now, make sure you guys keep up with him. Follow him on social media at the Hood Foodie. He's on Instagram. He's on Twitter, Facebook. Check out his website. All the info is there. And just make sure you guys tune in to see what else he's got cooking next. And I mean that, literally, cooking next, because it might just be foodies cooking. You never know. Anyway, hey, man, thank you so much for being a part of the show, brother.
Thank you.
Make sure you stay on your Grizzly.
Get it, pop. Let's get it.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about.
Follow the Grizzly Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more apps to have our episodes delivered right to your iPhone, Android, or any other device whenever they're released. Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to the Grizzly Podcast YouTube channel to access full episodes, video clips, and more on YouTube. The most authentic podcast is online at grizzlypodcast.com and on all major podcast platforms. Guest appearances and real conversations that will push you to hustle. The Grizzly Podcast is now streaming.
Hi, and welcome to Trademark Expediters. Whether you need a trademark or copyright, we can help make the process easy and affordable. Protect your company name, logo, or slogan with the trademark. Protect your songs, books, photographs, and other creative works with a copyright. Complete our easy online questionnaire in 15 minutes or less. Clear pricing, no hidden fees. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Get started today. Learn more at trademarkexpediters.com or call one of our friendly specialists at 1-800-510-1082. Affordable, easy, expedited service. Trademark Expediters.
Yo, turn it up.
Hard work, dedication, and progress. Stay on your Grizzly.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out another Grizzly Podcast episode. We'll see you next time.